the DeKalb High School Winter Art Show.
There's some left.
I paint sad sharks, and yes, it looks like a 10-year-old did it. The backgrounds are pretty good. And it all kind of started, I asked her what I should paint. My friend Liz said, paint a shark. And then I dripped some white paint under his eye, like it was crying, so I wrote, tell me I'm pretty with it. And next thing I knew, I had about 10 of them.
But you also do some other stuff.
Yeah, I do. I was asked to do a palette knife painting, and it had to be me and something else, or just me. And I decided what better thing to do than a picture of me and my dead cat Mika. She had leukemia and she passed away recently. And so I did that, and I titled it A Lonely Girl's Best Friend.
So it's a tribute to Mika.
Yes.
I'm trying to incorporate this design of the Day in the Dead into my entire portfolio. It's also to deal with like line and style, and I decided with the blank space with just one face, why not make 2 more?
What do you plan on doing after you graduate?
I plan on going to Ball State and study studio art with a concentration in ceramics. After that, I hope to own my own studio and teach other people ceramics, but just not in a high school level, more of adult classes.
So some of these projects, double exposure, that's when they take 2 photos and they put them together to kind of tell a story. Over here we have some diptychs, which is where you put 2 photos together side by side to tell a story. Some students chose to use a border, some chose to not use a border. We have some examples of depth of field. We have deep depth of field and then shallow depth of field up at the top, and then some different lighting assignments that we've done.
Why do a Christmas art show?
It's just an opportunity for students to showcase their work before. We have this big competition called Scholastics that comes up in January. It's just an opportunity for them to showcase some of their work beforehand, and then I think it will be neat for students to be able to see the progression from like the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and just give people an opportunity to see everything more than once a year.
Cool.
Nice place when you're at lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise.
These are a part of my portfolio for Scholastics. They're called Monsters with Addictions, and this one's the monsters are addicted to gambling. This one's the monster is addicted to vanity, and that one up there is the monsters are addicted to gluttony. They're colored pencils, and I use a realistic technique with lots of detail and lots of highlights and shadows. They represent people, like, because we think of addictions as something bad, so I use the people as I turn them into monsters.
Okay. Because the addictions kind of turn you into a monster. Okay.
These are 3 of an 8-part series that I'm doing for Scholastics in January, and Scholastics is a nationwide art competition for high schoolers and middle schoolers.
Here, it's the painting on. I find a subject and I paint them. I put the paint on their skin, and I try to make them look like a painting. And then I take a picture of them. When you draw something or put it on a canvas, you try to make it look like it's a real object. You try to imitate the real life. But when you're doing this, when you're painting on someone and taking a picture of them, you're trying to make them look like a painting. So you make the strokes very obvious, and it just looks like a mirror. In this photo, in this drawing, I use scribbles to get the shading, and well, when it's darker, I just put more scribbles and it's lighter. And you really have to look closely at the photo to get the different values, otherwise it just won't look right. In this one, I use tiny circles to get the code. And this one, I use hash marks, hashtags, to get all the different values.
And is this of Camille?
Yeah, this is Camille.
Okay.